So we were doing corals, a practical guide to corals for the reef aquarium. Let's continue with that. Corals. So next up is sun corals. Sun coral is the name given to a group of zooxanthellae lacking corals. Most commonly available as orange cupped varieties, these corals, along with their black, white, and yellow relatives, are easy to care for, providing they're out of any direct intense light. In fact, they prefer almost complete cover. Tubastria and related balanophilia require frequent feedings when their tentacles are extended. Newly introduced specimens can be coaxed to feed by blowing brine shrimp juices across the cups from which the tentacles emerge. Contrary to many accounts, feeding a single polyp will not keep the entire colony alive. The entire colony must be fed as each cup is an individual with its own nutritional requirements. The extra nutrient load into the water must be taken into account before choosing to keep the corals. So black sun is shown, black sun, black turret. Black sun is a fairly common color variation of its orange relatives. It frequently forms branching colonies. Scientific name Tubastria micrantha. Lighting 1 to 3. Water M. Aggressiveness LM. Difficulty 6, 7. The sun, orange cup, orange turret, red polyp, sunflower, sun polyp, turret. Scientific name Tubastria falconeri. The polyps on this sun coral are just beginning to emerge. Although far more glorious at night, with proper care and feeding, polyps can remain open even during the day. Whiskers. Whiskers is a very hardy but infrequently encountered coral with a strong resemblance to elegans. Specimens are usually found in brown, gray, or green tones. Though it does not have the striking colors of elegans, it adapts to almost all aquarium conditions, but prefers low currents that do not overly displace its dramatic tentacles. Like elegans, it can be fed shrimp and other food, like an anemone. Name Toon canopsamia axifuga. Lighting 2 to 9. Water LM. And aggressiveness H, high, and difficulty 3. So the next section is called small polyped stony corals. The SPS corals, SPS, short for small polyped stony, are characterized by very small polyps extending from a conspicuous calcareous skeleton. They are usually branched or plate-like in appearance. On the reef, these corals are found principally in areas of high turbulence and bright light, generally occupying the reef flats. They are easily broken and frequently reproduced through fragmentation in this way. They can also reproduce through synchronous broadcast spawning that is dependent on the lunar cycle. SPS corals are generally hard to keep in the aquarium because they require nearly perfect water conditions. They need a stable temperature. They are quite strong. And let me see, what was I? So they are quite intolerant of fluctuations of even a couple of degrees. They require strong lighting and generally afforded by high temperature metal halide lighting. So they need high temperature, high light, and high strontium, as well as other trace elements, and high calcium level that are important for their success. SPS corals can grow rapidly in a healthy tank. They require no feeding and will probably not accept food. Some species are capable of they send out fairly short but powerful sleeper tentacles. They are capable of defending their territory against close neighboring corals. They also compete for space through rapid growth. The small polyp stony corals appear in varied and often bright colors. Under strong lighting, the colors may turn more brown as the zooxanthellae adapt for the strong light. And in general, they have thick branches. Those with thick branches are easier to keep than the ones with thin branches. They are not recommended if you're inexperienced. Acropora. Acropora is a large genus that consists of over 200 species. Most Acropora are referred to under the general name of staghorn corals. There are, however, many growth patterns that are not accounted for by this descriptive name. Some of their common forms are table, bushy, and clustered. Table has short branches spreading out in a flat tabletop formation. Bushy has many tightly intertwined branches, making a thick bushy mass of branches. Staghorn has sharp antler-like branches, forming a more open nest-like colony. Clustered has small colonies of short branches. So these are all the very fast-growing species if kept in near perfect conditions despite their many variations in colors. The actual growth pattern and the colors of Acropora may change dramatically in conditions of captive care. Therefore, species of Acropora sold as purple may become brown, or vice versa. It's impossible to identify because the small colonies offered for sale may not have taken on the distinct characteristics of a larger, mature colony. Lighting is 7 to 9. Water is M to H. Aggressive M, difficulty 6-9. So we're looking at blue tip here, scientific name Acropora loripes. This is called cat's paw, a unique Acropora whose branches have fused to make wider members with blunt ends, named Acropora pallifera. And then this is called bushy. Bushy is named because it has dense and fairly compact growth pattern. Name Acropora bushiensis. Cluster is a distinct, small colonies have short branches and rounded tips. Cluster. Note, elkhorn is a very well-known Acropora species, but is found only in the tropical Atlantic and Caribbean. is illegal to collect. It may become available in the near future through aquaculture. So this is cluster Acropora digitifera. And then a delicate is this one, Acropora valenciensis, delicate. And then care tip. Acropora and most SPS corals are capable of releasing digestive strands called acontia filaments. These acontia are aggressive structures used to digest the tissue of adjacent corals, so care must be taken to avoid contact between species. This is called gem. Gem has distinct clustered jewel-like tips in various colors. Name Acropora gemifera. Quite lovely. Light pinkish ivory color. A green Acropora. Bleaching or color fading is caused by loss of pigmented zooxanthellae. Uniform bleaching usually is a sign of a rapid change in temperature or light intensity. Temperature or light. And then this is called noble. Scientific name Acropora pulchra. Pine tree Acropora. Broken tips are a common way to reproduce Acropora. This happens naturally through storms and waves in nature. Many Acropora being sold originate from fragmentation. Bleaching from the base is usually a sign of either inadequate lighting or oxygen toxicity due to improper acclimatization to intense lighting. This is called pine tree. Pretty nice colors, purplish, light green, pinkish. Purple Acropora tenuis, paler tips are common in many species and sign of rapid growth. That's the purple. And this is purple tipped. And why they have to put it right there in the center. Acropora cerealis. Okay. And then staghorn. Many species of Acropora have classical staghorn growth formation. Because of difficulty in identifying the small individual specimens, it is often necessary to refer to them by the generic name of staghorn. It says, bleaching at the tips may be indicative of too much light or unacclimated specimens. And underwater epoxy is a common method of attaching corals to live rock. There's the arrow on the bottom. Brush Acropora is frequently sold as table Acropora because of its distinct flat top. However, true table acropora colonies are entirely flat with short branches, and their horizontal growth pattern does not allow for vertical growth and branching that this colony shows. They're similar. And that was the purple tip. Okay. Okay, and table. True table acropora is remarkably uniform in maintaining a horizontal growth pattern with very short upward branches. This specimen has been placed in the aquarium at an awkward angle. So it's usually just horizontal growth, not vertical. And they put it sideways at a diagonal. And then yellow, scientific name Acropora. This unknown specimen of Acropora was acquired through fragmentation, has a rare and graceful branching pattern. Some experts suggest that metal halides are necessary for success with Acropora, yet the specimen has shown tremendous growth solely under VHO lighting. They should put some fish in there, you know. Then bird's nest, brush needle pink nest. Bird's nest is easily recognized by its thin and sharp, delicate branches. It can grow successfully once it is established in the tank. It's very sensitive to change, needs gradual light acclimation. Named Seriatopora hystrix, lighting 8 to 10. Water is medium high, aggressive M, difficulty 410. The specimen has thicker branches than the more typical specimen. Good. Quite pretty, light purplish color. With like ivory highlights. Okay. This is called, this is a bird's nest. Also, not easily broken branches. The area can often be overgrown by hair algae. Anyway, next clubfoot, cat's paw, cluster, finger, hard finger. Resembles several other species of branching clustered SPS corals, but can be identified by its normally thicker branches with blended ends. Considered slightly hardier, like other similar species, appears in many colors with specific requirements depending on the area from which it is collected. The color can change, I guess. Stylophora pistillata, lighting is 7 to 10, water MH, aggressive M, difficulty 9. Very thick branches. clubfoot. Frilly cactus, leaf or lettuce. Frilly cactus is the most commonly imported species of cactus coral. It grows rapidly, can form a field of clay. All cactus corals prefer bright light and brisk current. So, frilly cactus, pavona cactus, lighting needs 610, water MH, aggressive L to M, and the difficulty is 7. Very cool looking, like a peachy color. Cactus. Leaf, lettuce, potato chip. Cactus is a fairly hardy coral that has a thin, ridge-like growth pattern. It's most light and water tolerant of the SP group, small polyps, and will attach to and encrust live rock. The colors are usually mustard to brown. This one is like a pink color. Very pretty. So they're like plates. Lettuce, potato chip, leaf. That's kind of what it looks like. Named Pavona decusata. And it says fuzzy needle-like polyps that extend from the surface identify all species of cactus. Showing the fuzzy needle-like polyps on the surface. Okay. And then horn corals can resemble acropora, but usually have thicker branches, some with grooved ends. Although it is more tolerant than some other SPS corals, it is difficult to keep. All species will grow rapidly in the right conditions, and the heavier tissue can soon encrust rock. Horn has very powerful sweeper tentacles that, although completely or comparatively short in length, can be deadly to neighboring corals. It has pronounced ability to exude acontia filaments. Many different colors are available. Bright fluorescent green is common. Lighting 710. Water MH. Aggressive H. Difficulty 8. Name Hydnophora grandis. So it says hydnophores are raised domes forming where corallites have joined together. It's a distinguishing characteristic of Hydnophora, as well as the source of the genus name. And then horn, branch, knob, green velvet, horn, name Hydnophora excessa. Similar, also a horn coral. Greenish, like pinkish color. Okay. Okay then. I think we're gonna take a pause. So this is Jewel. It's a member of genus Porites. They are so named for the small jewel-like eyes covering the skeleton. Like velvet corals, jewel corals take on an astonishing array of colors and growth patterns. Encrusting, boulder-shaped, fingered, club-like, and branching forms are all common. All have very small polyps and prefer to be in areas of high current. While most require intense lighting, there are some species faring better under slightly subdued light. All jewel corals are non-aggressive and must not be placed near any corals which can harm them. Lighting 710, water H, aggressive L, difficulty 8. Jeweled toe, clubbed finger is shown here. Jeweled toe is a branch type of many color variations. It can closely resemble clubfoot and velvet finger, but usually has shorter branches and the characteristic eyes on its skeleton. It forms plates with toes growing upward. Name, Porites attenuata. Jeweled finger, or jewel stone. Jeweled finger is a common variation of Porites. When part of a mature colony, the species has longer branches that take on a noticeably pointed appearance, with a strong taper that resembles a finger. It too is variable in color. Like other Porite species, jeweled finger periodically sheds a waxy coating to generate and rid itself of algae and waste from its surface. Name Porites cylindrica. Identification, jewel-like eyes are a clear indicator of Porites. This is like a greenish yellow color. Pretty and cool color. This is called Christmas tree worm rock. Finger jewelstone porous worm rock. Brightly colored worms retract quickly if approached. So, Christmas tree worm rock is not really a rock. Although these worms can be found in live rock, they are usually associated with this coral. The brightly colored worms can make their home in all Porites, but seem especially fond of this type. Since they're dependent on the coral for feeding, if it dies, the worms usually die as well. Because of its difficulty of care, it is not recommended to keep this coral solely for the sake of the Christmas tree worms. Porites lutea. So they're like bright colored, cauliflower. Cauliflower is common, fairly common SPS coral that is more light tolerant than many similar species, but it demands high water flow. Many people have had great success with the coral, while others find it very difficult to keep. Cauliflower is one of the largest polyped SPS coral, and some reviewers have suggested that is not a true SPS coral. Prolific raised corallites shown. Lighting 610, water H, aggressive M, difficulty 8. It's pink. Pink cauliflower bird's nest branch brush cluster. A characteristic unique to cauliflower is the presence of raised corallites surrounding each branch tip. These certainly account for its descriptive name. Name Pocillopora verrucosa. cauliflower, and then this is more of a peachy color. This is the most commonly available type of cauliflower, often sold through aquaculture facilities. Such captive bred specimens are often of higher quality since they've adapted to aquarium environments. Name: Poecilophora gamicornis. And it says comparatively large, fluffy polyps. Looks very pretty.